Okay, so now people, what I want to do is I want to go back into my editing of my mask so that I can cut those openings in here on the south elevation so that we can get some light, some more direct light, because we are getting light through the facade, and we can have an opening so people can go in and out of our little space. All right, that'd be a good idea. Even though it's not enough exits, we're just going to worry about this facade for right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the 3D view so I can easily select my whole mask, and then I'm going to say edit in place. And while I hit edit in place, as soon as I'm in there, I'm going to immediately change this to a what? I'm going to change this to a hidden line view. Okay, and I'm also going to say show the work plane, but I'm going to say show the work plane. I'm going to set it just for my benefit right now to building face. All right, don't need it right now, but I will later. Let's go back to our south elevation, and now that I'm on my south elevation, I'm going to say set this work plane, make sure it's on building face, and it is, and I'm going to say I want to draw a rectangle, right? And then what I'm going to do is say I'm going to draw this rectangle from this corner up here down to this corner. And then once it's done, I'm going to let it scroll. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say create form, void form. And once I create the void form, I'm going to let it roll. Mine's a little slow, so bear with me. And then what I'm going to do immediately is I'm going to go to my 3D view. And while I'm in my 3D view, I'm going to make sure I am in my wireframe. And while I'm in there, you see my green arrow? I'm going to grab it and I'm going to drag out. And I'm pulling outward slowly. And let's see what happens when I pull out slowly. It's like I pull that mask the other direction. Right? There's my void form. I'll click out there and now look at that. I've got a nice cut in my facade. And if I go back to my south elevation and my 3D view, I've got that cut in my facade, right? So now that I know it's there, I'm going to go back to my south elevation. And here's the tedious part, everybody. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to hover. And I'm going to hit tab, 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 slowly but surely up. Having a hard time finding it. Go back to my 3D view, hover, tab, tab, tab. People, it can be a hassle at times. Let me move my cursor, see if I can find it that way a little better. There it is, right? Once I have it, I click, and then I go back to my south elevation. And what I'm going to do now that I know I have it, I'm going to hit copy. I'm going to make sure multiple is checked. And then I am going to, as you see, go to this corner and I'm going to copy it from here to this window here. And you see how slow it takes because Revit is calculating each one of the cuts it's making through the solid part of my form to put voids in there. So it's thinking, and plus my computer is a little older, so it's a little slow. Bear with me. I'll do this next one. And after I do this next one, what I'll do is I'll pause the video and go through the rest of them. But you can see I am just copying from that corner to that corner. And Revit is thinking, thinking, thinking. There's that third one, okay? So I'm going to, as soon as this one's done, I've got to copy it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more places. So I'm going to pause the video while I do that. You get the idea of what we're doing. I'll just do one more just to benefit you. I'll come in here and I'll click there and make sure you get it right there. That's why you want to be in wireframe mode so you can really see the edge of that window frame and that opening. What you want is the opening. And then after this one goes through, I'm going to pause the video and pick back up when I've got all of them done, okay? So there's that one. And again, so as not to bore you, I'm going to pause the video at this point. Okay, so it took a few minutes, but I've got them all copied and in there. So all my openings are done. I'm going to actually take this last void, and I could put it over here, right? but then I'd have to do some editing to it. So I'm just going to hit escape, right? Escape, escape. Now I'm out of it, and I'm at a good stopping point, so I can say finish mask, and I'll finish this mask. And you're saying, Joel, you didn't do the door yet. That's because the door is a little bit different size of these windows. So I want to get out, right? And there, I'm saving the project. Good idea. Always good idea to save. And I'm in the 3D view. I go SD and shade it. Now, look what I've got. I've got these really nice big openings in there. And I've got this wavy wood facade. Now, all I need to do is put an opening for the door. So let's do that. That'll kind of be our last step for this process. So I'm going to go back to edit in place. And again, it's a real easy process. I'm going to go back in. My work plane is set. So in the south elevation, I know my work plane is still set, but hey, I can check it anyway. It's still building face. Great. I'll come up here to model, right? And I make sure I'm drawing on the work plane. Always good things to do. Never hurts to double check. And now I'm going to draw this window from here all the way down, or this void from here to here, right? And now Revit's going to do its calculation. And now I can say create form, void form, and I should get that 3D icon that's going to pop up, right? So hopefully here it comes. And again, depending on your computer speed, people, this could be almost instantaneous or it can be really slow. So you see, I know I'm doing good because I don't see my little green one. So I'm going to go to my 3D and there's my Y. So now I can grab that and I'm just going to slowly pull it out till I know it's past the front of the facade at some point. I'll let it go. See, I don't get a dynamic number that I can use to change it. So I just got to kind of visually do that. And that can be a little challenging at times, but it just takes a little practice. And again, there we go. Let's see. Am I close enough? Yeah, I'm plenty far out. That void is cutting there. So I'll just click a data point here. And there's my opening. I can click on Finish Mask now. Now people can get in my building. That's awesome. They can get in my building. That's going to be really nice. So now that I've gotten in, all right, there we go in our 3D view. And now look at that. We've got a really nice facade going on there. And what I'm going to do is come in and I'm going to say, I'd like to go back to level 1. And maybe instead of the typical 3D view, I'm going to go up here and I'm going to say, give me a camera view. And maybe I'm going to look from this direction and I'm going to kind of click out here somewhere and pick up the whole building, right? And now there's my 3D view, camera view I created, right? Pretty cool, huh? So we can pull that out, and while we're in this 3D view, I can say, give me an SD, give me a shaded mode, and put that on fine. And then I can even hold down Shift, middle mouse button, and I can turn that view. I'm in Shift, middle mouse button right now, and I can kind of see how that looks. That's pretty interesting, isn't it? We've got that facade, that wavy kind of wood facade going up the front of the building. And, you know, if I want to even go to realistic instead of shaded in this view, all right, wow, now it really looks like that polished birch wood. That's pretty cool. And if we actually rendered it, it would look a lot nicer even. So interesting way to play with materials here. And you could cut voids just about anywhere in a view like this and see how you can change the perspective in that view. That's really cool. I really like that whole camera view idea. So what I'm going to ask you to do now is on this facade over here with the curtain wall, can you put another kind of wood facade on there? That's kind of your assignment. You're going to do the front portion of this, right? You're going to do the front portion of it the way I just showed you how. But then you're going to do your own kind of same sort of facade on this side, because that's a west elevation. And on this west elevation, boy, we do not want a lot of sunlight. Well, what do I mean? Well, if I come in here and I turn the sun path on and and I'll just use current settings, you know, or you know what, let me go in here and say sun path on and go to settings, and I can say make it a single day, and we can make it today, and also let our building be in Boston, Massachusetts. Everything doesn't have to be in Godfrey, right? And then once we turn shadows on, we get an idea. On a day like this, we'll get a lot of sun on that elevation. But what if we went in here and it was the summertime instead of 4/8? We're in the middle of summer. Maybe we're sometime 1st of August or something like that, right? So it's August 1st and I hit apply. That sun's way overhead. But if I go and I grab it and I take it into the afternoon, let me see if I can grab it and take it to the afternoon, or I'll just put in 5:26 p.m. or 6:26 p.m. or 5:26. If I do that, it should change for me. Hold on a second. I wonder why that's not moving. Should be moving for me. Hold on, let me check this. 5:26 p.m. And then I click on that. There we go. But I want the sun to move. I'm not quite. Oh, there it goes. Boy, that's giving me all kinds of grief, isn't it? Not quite sure why that's doing that, but as it gets into that sky in that part of the afternoon, you know, I'm trying to get it to 5, and it goes right back to 11:26. Maybe if I go in the settings, I want the time to be 5 p.m., 5:30 p.m., right around there. All right, there we go. It's supposed to move dynamically as well, but you can see how I would have that sun right on that elevation. So it'd be super helpful to have a facade like that over here. So I want you, after you build the first one, to practice and build the second one on this facade. How would you go about it? I don't want to just show it to you. I want you to kind of feel your way through it. And that's your assignment. After you build this first facade, you're going to need to go in and build that second facade to protect that west elevation in those hot summer months. But again, if you have any questions, feel free to text me, feel free to email me. But this is the way we're going to kind of approach class today, to kind of get away from some of the problems we've been having with our internet connection, or with my internet connection and Blackboard Collaborate. So again, interesting little lesson for you. Again, fun, hopefully something that you've wanted to try. I think this is going to be real helpful for you all going on to the next level in some of your projects, being able to use the massing tool to do this. We'll probably move on to another focus in Revit next week, but we'll come back to massing later and we'll play with it a little more. We'll kind of maybe turn down and do some smaller things. We've done a lot of facades and a lot of big things. Let's do some smaller things next time we get into massing. So hopefully you've had some fun with this, and you'll get this lesson set up and put in. I think it has a due date, if I'm not mistaken. This exercise model is going to have oh, sorry, I didn't want the exercise model. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to put an assignment up here for you. Lecture 17, exercise submittal, right? So you'll be able to submit here. It's going to be due on the 27th at the end of the day, and there'll be 100 points as per usual. All right, so now you got a due date and an assignment for this particular one. You'll get a chance to get that one done. Hopefully, again, you'll have some fun with this, and we'll pick back up in our next Revit lesson on Monday.